Welcome to the shooting show. This week I stalk a rogue stag at Glenetiv, plus Wesley Stanton reviews a Silma M70 shotgun.
A call to the lodge comes in from estate stalker Mark Shone. A stag he's been wanting to cull this year has been spotted down by the river. With everyone else out fishing, it's me that has to get changed and head out with the rifle. The afternoon is wearing on, and we don't know how long the stag will stay in his current position. We head along the road to get a better bearing on him and plan our stalking strategy.
I'm seeing the hinds there, yeah.
He's just in there. Oh, you got the hinds.
The problem is when you start going through the gorse, quite often there'll be something in the gorse. Oh shit, what's the wind doing anyway? It was like in the north today, wasn't it? So it was like
sort of angling
northeast.
It's going to be difficult. The low river and flat ground means there is little to cover the sight and sound of our approach, and there is a small puddle of hinds we'll have to navigate around. Mark decides to take the Argo across the river and stalk in from behind the deer. Stepping into the cover for a moment, we spy the stag and decide on our approach. We won't know if there's anything hiding out of sight in the gorse until we come across it, but we've got to take our chance. We stick to the stony riverbed as far as we can stay low before cutting inside, but the noisy stones threaten to give us away. We are gradually weaving our way closer to the stag's position. Staying low while moving fast is difficult on such stony ground, but thankfully the stag hasn't started to suspect anything yet. We know there are hinds about too, but we can't see them through the gorse. If they wind us and spook, our game is up. Our position gets even harder when we spot three hinds to our left. All we can do now is move quickly and hope our luck holds. The stag still hasn't suspected anything, but his body is hidden by the long grass and bracken bank. It will have to be a neck shot. The shot is true, and the stag goes down where he stood.
Where are the hinds? The reason we shot this stag, Pete, was he's causing quite a few problems with the new flight pond I've put in. He's coming in sort of most nights and scoffing all the barley and keeping the ducks off.
Yeah.
And the other problem we've had with him, we get a lot of tourists down here, and because he's one of my feeders, he's quite tame.
Yeah.
He's starting to get a bit kind of boisterous with some of these tourists and sort of dropping his head and having a go. So it was time for him to go before he sort of did someone harm.
Yeah.
You know, he's obviously a good head, but he's very old. You know, I'd put him as sort of 13 to 14 years old.
Really?
So he's as good as he's gonna be. Last year he went back. This year there's been a lot of grass, so you know he's gained a point. Last year he didn't have this point at the back, he was just a straight 10-pointer.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that a lot this year with some of my old feeders.
Yeah.
They've actually gained points just with the good feeding this year.
So it's been an exceptionally mild year.
Yeah. You know, and it was bit of a tricky stalk coming in along the gravel there, and then we didn't know where the hinds were, so obviously
So much noise on the gravel, but you know.
Yeah, and then you know, banks giving way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was good. We got him a neck shot. It was quite a difficult spot to get a decent sort of backdrop. But we managed just to get just enough height
Up onto the top of the bank there,
to get down on him.
Yeah.
But no, it's good that he dropped the shot. We obviously have to be quite careful coming in when you see him drop like that, because you know you might have just grazed his neck, and you need to be careful because they can just thrash their head around and catch you.
In the grass, it was the only.
Yeah. I mean, it's the only option we had.
Yeah.
It's all we could see.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we weren't far. We were only sort of, I don't know, 50 yards.
Yeah.
So no, and he's got quite a big neck on him. So
yeah.
Good shot. Well
Thank
done.
you very much.
After assessing the stag's age and condition, Mark performs the gralloch and goes to get the Argo. Extraction might be easier than on the hill, but it's still no small effort to haul a stag into the back of the vehicle.
We try and get shoulder over. Right. Now his back legs. I take it back, I think he's heavier. 116 stone.
We head back to base where Mark, accompanied by Gilly Alex, prepare the carcass for the larder. It's not been what you would call a typical Highland red stag stalk, but it was good sport and a tense stalk nevertheless. And we helped Mark get a problem animal off his patch, and one who would succumb to the winter too. It doesn't get much better than that. This is true conservation in action.
That's one stag better in the larder there. And now, the Shooting Show news.
This is the Shooting Show news, brought to you by gunbid.co.uk. The great and the good of the shooting world flocked to the opening of the newly refurbished Beretta Gallery on Thursday. Housing an extensive gunroom and a collection of fine accessories, the gallery is still a premier shopping destination for any shooter in London. The gallery team told us the full story.
We've now got more room for our premium range of guns you see behind me. Everything from Beretta Jubilees to SO6s, SO10s. We've opened up this floor, one of three. This is all guns and now optics. It's very important for Beretta to have a presence here in London. It's one of the centres of gun making. Certainly 100 years ago, just outside here, this was the gun making quarter in town.
It's been hard work, but a good challenge. I feel that we've brought Beretta up to where it should be in the UK today, and long may it continue.
More firearm and shotgun certificates are an issue than at any time in the last 10 years. Latest Home Office figures show that shooting continues to grow in popularity, despite the number of refusals also going up. There are now over 150,000 firearm certificate holders and 580,000 shotgun certificate holders in the UK. To see all the figures, head to the link on screen. BASC has gone on tour to take the value of shooting to the major political parties. First, at the Labour conference, Shadow Environment Minister Angela Smith praised shooting and said she wanted to work with BASC to achieve the best possible outcomes for the shooting sports. And at the Conservative conference, Secretary of State Liz Truss said shooting is a really important part of our tourism and rural economy. She said a Conservative government would be fully supportive of shooting. It's now free to sell your items on Gunbid. The gun auction website has scrapped all its basic listing fees, including the final value fee. Now the only fees you pay are premiums to enhance your listing. If you've got hunting gear to sell or buy, head to gunbid.co.uk now. That was the Shooting Show news.
Hi, I'm Wes Stanton. Today I'm at Edgehill Shooting Ground on a glorious day, testing the new Silma M70 Game gun. It's true to say that Silma isn't a tier 1 brand that would be familiar to most consumers within the British Isles, but the Italian manufacturer has been putting guns into the UK market for nearly 60 years, and it's although it makes guns at many different price points, it's best known within the British Isles for guns at the budget end of the scale. Now, when I first picked up this gun, the first thing I noticed was it's incredibly lightweight. Then, having checked my facts, it's 6 3/4 pounds, which is pretty light for an over and under game gun. There are side-by-sides that are lighter than that, but for an over and under, this is a really lightweight offering, and it's something I'd be happy to carry around the field all day without getting tired. So looking at the specifics, it's got a hard butt plate. The grip here is relatively wide in radius. Moving up, you can see it's clearly game scene engraved. We have a pheasant, bulrushes, woodcock and a partridge all adorning the action. The fore end itself is reasonably wide. It's more reminiscent of a beaver tail than a schnabel, as you often get on game guns, but it's actually very slender and fits really nicely in the hand. Barrel length on this one is 28 inches, which isn't perhaps the most popular gun for game shooting. A lot of people like to shoot to 30 nowadays, but of course there is a weight saving there if you are carrying the gun around all day, and it also makes it really fast handling. Now this gun is clearly a box lock, and it has a single selective trigger. A lot of guns you select the barrel you want to shoot first, actually on the safety catch, by pulling it from one side or to the other. This you actually select on the trigger itself. I'm not a big fan of that. There are some guns out there that you can only actually select the barrel when it's cocked, but at least with this one the gun can be open and you can make your barrel selection easily while the gun is safe. This gun retails at £675. Now to get a gun at sub £700, you've got to save money somewhere. Many manufacturers will save money in the mechanics, what you see inside the action, but I'm pleased to say that Silma here have saved money on the wood. It's very basic. I wouldn't say you get any more basic than this, but it's basic. I mean, it'd probably benefit from a regular polish with some oil. What I really like about this product is, rather than having put expensive woodwork on a gun with a poor action, they haven't scrimped on what goes on inside here. Effectively, the tumblers have their sears and bents operating at the base of the action. What that means is there's a shorter travel time between the tumbler and the firing pin, which makes for a particularly crisp trigger pull. Big criticism of budget guns is usually that that's where the saving is made, but it absolutely isn't for this. And I shot it today to good effect, and I noticed that the triggers were, for a gun at this price point, unusually crisp. Pull. Pull. What I really like about this gun is its price. For sub £700 you can have a 12 gauge at £675, or for only £20 more you can have a 20 gauge. Have one of each for less than £1,400, which isn't bad, is it? The thing I've really enjoyed about shooting it today is it handles superbly well. It has really crisp trigger pulls, and it's got me quite excited about the game shooting season.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. We're out every Monday, 7:30 PM UK time. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you're not a member of BASC, it's time to join now. BASC, looking after your sport, looking after you.